my dear student in grade 5. I hope this video finds you well and you're in good shape and health. Today I will be recapping for you the chapter that we went together, and we will be continuing by after the New Year break or the winter break, which is about matter and the properties of matter. As we discussed earlier, we were talking about in an earlier video, we discussed about matter, what is matter, the state of matter, and how to measure matter. In this unit, in this chapter, which is Unit 2, Lesson 2, what are the properties of matter, we are going to tackle the properties of matter, and this is available or found in your book, Science Book, Volume 1, page 100. To start with, as we already mentioned, this lesson is tackling the standard, which is NGSS PS1, matter and its interaction. We already covered the first standard in the first lesson, and now we are going to tackle the second objective or the second skill as per the standard, which is making observation and measurement to identify material based on their properties. And by the end of this lesson, you will be able to describe and recognize the properties of matter and how those properties are affected by different factors. As well as you will be able to explore the properties and compare substances based on their physical properties. And you will be able to know that we do have different types of properties, and in grade 5 you are only required to talk about or to explore and investigate about the matter physical properties. There are other properties that you will learn later on, which are the chemical properties, which will be given to you in grade 7, I believe, and inshallah all of you will be successfully finishing this grade and going to upper level, so that you will be able to tackle these objectives and to know more information about this topic. You will be also able to recognize the factor affecting the properties of matter and to identify the difference between mixtures and solution. To start with, if I want to tell you what does it mean a property? What is meant by a property? And how can we describe matter? So there are things that we can see around us. There are things that is made of matter that is found everywhere next to you, even including you as an example of matter. So if I want to describe matter, as we mentioned in the first lesson, matter is everything that occupies space and have mass. And you will be able to observe matter using your 5 senses. And when you are observing matter, this means that you are carefully exploring its properties. And to know what does it mean a property? All matter has a property. Some of these properties are easy to identify, like color, shape, and size. What I mean by physical property, or what is meant by a physical property, is the characteristic of matter that can be observed or measured directly without changing anything. So if I'm going to tell you what you can see in my book, you will be able to identify what is the color of my book, what is the shape of my book, what is the size of my book. So all these are describing the object, which is the book, which is an example of matter. So in another word, when I'm talking about a physical property, is all the things that I can observe, we call them characteristic, that I can observe using the 5 senses. And over here, I wanted to highlight again and to remind you of observation, that we spoke about it in our lesson about scientific method. When we're talking about observation in science, this happened to be using our 5 senses. Which means if I'm smelling, this is an observation. If I'm hearing, this is an observation. If I'm tasting, this is an observation. If I'm touching to see the texture, if it's smooth or soft, this is an observation. So if in science, when we will talk about observation, we will be talking about a property or an observation that is done using my 5 senses. Okay, not only by looking. Okay, this is very important thing that I wanted to highlight. Observation is done using our five senses. So matter has observable properties, that the things that I can see, I can observe, and those can be simply the one that you already know, or you might easily recognize, which like size, whether it's big or small, the texture, whether it's smooth or rough. When I say texture, this means that how this object will feel like. Okay, the color, definitely you know if it's red, if it's black, if it's white, if it's purple in color. The shape, you should know the shape of the object, whether you're observing a cubic square, whether you're observing a cylindrical shape object, whether you are observing a rounded shape object or oval shape object. Mass, the same thing, is a physical property because it describes matter. How much amount of matter do I have? So it describes how heavy the object is, or how light the object is. And we already learned about mass and while measuring matter in Unit 1, Lesson 1. And the same thing we learned about volume, how much space the object occupies. This means that we're measuring the volume. And we already talked and discussed about how to measure the volume of regular shaped object using the formula length times width times height. And we already covered another new method to measure the volume of irregular shaped object using the displacement method, where you will be using water and to put the object in the water, and to measure the volume of the water before and after placing the object and find the difference. So all these information are easy, and now you are able basically to recognize the properties that are considered to be a physical property. What we will learn more about in this lesson, and what you will be able to explore in this video, are new properties that you will be able to know, for example, and maybe they are new to you. And in this example, we were able to differentiate between the duck and the flower using the color, the shape, and we were able to describe them, for example, by their texture, how they feel, or you can describe by their size. So all these characteristics allow me to differentiate between these two examples of matter and to differentiate them based on their properties, the things that describe them. The next thing, for example, I can classify properties according to the things that are made in common. For example, by color, by shape, by texture, by length. Okay, so now, the new thing for you are the amazing properties that we will be discussing now, and you will be able to differentiate also matter using their properties. So again, we are talking about physical properties, and in addition to those that we mentioned over here, we are now adding more properties, and I believe these were new to you. So to start with, if I want to describe a matter by its hardness, this means how easy is an object is able to bend or to move, how hard it is. This is a physical property. Okay, so if I will be talking about the feather, it is very soft and it is not that much hard as the stone, for example. So this is a property that can differentiate a feather from a stone, which is called a hardness. It's a physical property. Another thing that I wanted you to learn about matter is that it has a property that is called reflectivity. Reflectivity is the ability to reflect light. If I will be showing you my phone and I will be bending my phone like this, you will be able to see the light that is reflected by my phone. So this gives you an information that my phone has a property which is called reflectivity. The same thing for glass, the same thing for other metal like the one I can see in this picture. But if I will tell you wood, for example, it will not have this property because wood is not reflective, or it does not have the ability to reflect light. Okay, so not all matter will have these properties, especially reflectivity. This will help me to differentiate matter by their properties. So if I will tell you that the wood has the property which is hardness, but it will not have reflectivity. However, metal will have the property which is hardness and which is reflectivity as well, the ability to reflect light. I hope this is clear to you. The next thing that we will talk about is another physical property that is called magnetism. When I will say magnetism is the ability to attract magnet, and those matter are that are made of metals. Why? Because the magnet is the material that it is or an object that produces a magnetic field. And when we will talk about a magnetic field, we are talking about south and north pole. Okay? Like you can see over here in this picture. So as you can see, all magnets will be able to have the property that is having the south and the north pole. Usually, the magnetism is the ability to attract matter or other magnets. But you need to know one thing that is special about magnet is that the magnet will repel like poles and will attract similar poles. In other words, the north will attract south, but the north will repel or go away from north. This means like poles will repel, go away from each other. This is what we will call repulsion. This is a scientific word to describe what is happening here, repulsion. However, when they are able to come closer together, to attach to each other, to attract each other, we will call it attraction. So these two new scientific keywords that we will be describing magnet, okay, attraction and repulsion. So if I'm talking about magnetism, it is usually a property that describes metals. As you can see in this picture over here, this instrument is able to attract all the things that are made of metal. However, things that are not made of metal will not be attracted by this magnet. So magnetism is an attractive force that is invisible, we can't see it, but it is still described as a physical property. Okay, magnetism, it is a property that the object is able to attract metals. Okay, so again, if I will tell you wood, it does not have this property, but all types of metal, including your mobile, including the magnetic things or toys that you put it in your fridge, these are having the property of magnet. If it contains a magnet, it will attach to your fridge because your fridge is made of metals. Okay, I hope this is clear now. The next thing that we will describe matter is another physical property that is called flexibility. Flexibility is the ability to bend without breaking. As you can see in this foam tube, the lady is able to bend it to change its shape without breaking. So this is a property that describes some matter, but not all types of matter. For example, foam is flexible. However, if I will show you my phone is not flexible. So not all matter are having this property. This is again will help you to differentiate matter from one another. Okay, flexibility is the ability to bend without breaking. So the next thing that we will be talking about, so if I want to recap for you or to summarize it, some objects are flexible. This means they can bend without breaking, and objects that are able to attract magnet are usually the ones that are made of metals. Mirrors and glass are easily identified by their property, which is reflectivity, the ability to reflect light, and as well as hardness is a property that describes the brick wall because it is very hard and tough. Another amazing property of matter that is also described as a physical property is called conductivity. When I say conductivity, from the word conduct. So conductivity is the ability to transfer heat and electricity. That's why conductivity describes two things. Describe the objects that are able to conduct heat and describe the objects that are able to conduct electricity. So the material that let heat and electricity pass through them, to go through them, are always being called as conductors, or in other words, we call them conductors. An example of a good conductors of heat and electricity are metals. This means that metals will allow objects to conduct or to pass heat as well as electricity. And if I will give you example, if you put a spoon next to the fire, after some times you will feel that the spoon is getting hot. This is because the spoon is transferring heat from the gas, because it is transferring across the metal. But if I will put another item, and please don't try it at home, which is made of wood, it will not pass heat from one place to another. Definitely the wood will burn, but if I'm holding it next to an object that is conducting heat, wood will not have the ability to conduct heat as well as electricity. The same thing is the things that do not conduct electricity, as we mentioned, wood. This is described as insulator. So the material that do not conduct heat and electricity are called insulators, and most of these insulators are cloth, the clothes, like example, and plastic, rubber, okay, and many other examples that do not conduct electricity and heat are called insulator. So we were able to know a new physical property, which is conductivity. Conductivity is the ability to transfer heat and electricity. The one that allow electricity and heat to pass through them are called conductors, and most of the conductors are metals. However, those materials or those metals that do not allow electricity and heat to pass through them are called insulators. So these are new scientific keyword that we're learning, so please write them down and make sure you always remember those. So if I will put, for example, a metal spoon inside this container and this is on fire, after some times you will feel that the metal spoon is getting hot, and as you can see over here that the temperature increased. But if in case your mom, when she's cooking, used a plastic spoon or a spoon that is made of a nylon handle, this is an example of a insulator, because the nylon do not, or the plastic do not conduct heat as well as metal. Okay, so in this case the spoon in the left pot is an example of metal. It's made of metal, which is a good conductor of heat and electricity. The next property that is again an amazing physical property that we will talk about is called solubility. Solubility is the ability of one substance to dissolve in another. When I will say ability to dissolve, this means it is soluble. Okay, it is soluble. For example, I put 2 spoons of sugar in water and I mix them. After some times, I will see that the sugar disappeared in the water. This means that the sugar has the ability to dissolve in water, and this will give it the property which is called solubility. When you add to liquids particles that do not dissolve, these particles will be described as insoluble. For example, if you put 2 spoons of sand in a cup of water, if you stir them for hours, it will not dissolve, because simply the sand will have the property that is insoluble in water. In other words, it will not dissolve. So again, this is a property that I can differentiate some matter from another is by solubility, whether the object, whether the matter is able to have the ability to dissolve in water or in another substance or not. That's why we are learning two terminology. Dissolving, this is a scientific keyword, and please note it down as well. When something dissolves, this means that it will be disappeared. When it may look like one substance has disappeared, but the particles are still there. So if I mix, for example, salt and water, after some times the salt will dissolve completely in water and it will disappear. But it does not mean that the water is not there. It's still there. And there is a way that I can retain or get back the salt from the water solution and the mixture, which is by evaporating. Okay, if you boil this water, it will be able to allow the water molecule to evaporate and the salt molecule to stay and remain in the bottom. This is another technique that you will be learning, inshallah, in upper or higher grades. You're not responsible about it. I just mentioned as extra information for you. The next thing that we will be talking about, or this is another scientific keyword that I am highlighting today for you, and please note it down, is called evaporating. When I evaporate, this means you are boiling the water with another substance that is dissolved in, like salt, in my previous example, and what you will be left with after the whole water will disappear or evaporate is the salt particles. Okay, so as a recap, solubility is the ability of one substance to dissolve in another. For example, sugar is having this property, sand will not have this property because it's insoluble in water. Please remember the word soluble means it dissolves, insoluble means it does not dissolve. When we are dissolving like a substance in another substance, this is if it has the ability to disappear, this means the substance has the ability of dissolving. This means it's soluble and it has the property, physical property, which is solubility. And another thing is that you need to remember, if you boil the water, you will be able to retain or to get back the dissolved substance like salt in water. Okay, I hope this is clear about solubility. So you will be if you will be if you have used the vitamin C tablets, when you place them in water, it will disappear after some time. This means that this medicine has the ability to dissolve. This means the vitamin C tablet are having the ability to dissolve. It means that they are soluble in water. Okay? If we will be able to recap together the physical properties, anything that has mass and take up space, this is matter. Describe how energy such as electricity and heat can pass through them. This is conductivity. The amount of space the object can take is volume. Whether something is attracted to magnet or not, this is magnetism. Measured by thermometer, the temperature. Measured in grams, this is the mass. In the way is the way light reflects or bounces back, this is the reflectivity. A property of matter that can be measured, observed in 5 senses, this is a physical property, the ability of matter to dissolve in another liquid, this is solubility. Measured using a graduated cylinder, this is again the volume. Whether something is in solid, liquid, or gas, we're describing the state of matter. How hot or cold the substance is, this is describing the temperature. Measured in degrees Celsius, this is again the temperature. Measured in liters or millimeter, this is volume. Name a physical property that is matter is not listed above. For example, I will be talking about solubility, it's there. Not listed. Size, for example, it's still a physical property and it's not listed over here. Okay, Let's move on. Now we will be talking about mixture. What is the difference between mixture and solution? I don't know if you have heard about them before, but I will be briefing you out and I will be explaining the difference between a mixture and a solution. So you will be able to differentiate between mixtures and solution, and you will be able also to give example. When I want to describe, or when I want to define a mixture is a combination of two or more different substances where each substance is keeping its identity. When I say identity, this means it does not change. For example, if I will add strawberry to my fruit salad, the strawberry is still there. It is only being mixed with other fruits. Or in other words, if I'm able, the fruit was strawberry before the mixture, and it also still as it is as after I did it or I mix it. That's why the special thing about mixtures is that whatever substance I mix with another, it will always stay the same. It will not change its identity. It will not produce a new substance. So a mixture, in a mixture, each part is keeping its own property. Like when I mix the fruit salad together, the pineapple is still pineapple, the orange is still an orange, the strawberry is still a strawberry. All what is done over here is that these are being mixed together. And if I want to separate them, I can still separate them by removing any of them. That's why a physical a mixture can be separated by a physical mean. This means I'm not interfering chemically, I'm not boiling, I'm not cooking. I can remove the lemon from this mixture so that my fruit salad will not have lemon anymore. So it does not interfere with the composition. The same thing for my vegetable salad. If I don't want the cucumber, I can remove it. So I can remove a cucumber from the mixture, which is a mix of different substances or different types of vegetables in this case. So this is a mixture. A mixture is a combination of more or two substances together. For example, a fruit salad, for example, a green salad. For example, if you mix your cereals with some fruits like cherries or berries, you are doing a mixture without knowing. So this is an example of a mixture. Okay, I hope this is clear, and this is something that we use in our daily life. So you are mixing without noticing. Your mom is mixing your salad, which is an example of a mixture. Okay, so when we are going to separate mixture from one another, we will be just removing some items or some matter from a mixture. So there are several ways where I can separate mixtures with. For example, if I want to separate the ingredients of this salad, I can remove the carrots from my salad, so that my salad, which is still a mixture, is not having carrots inside it. Another way I can separate even a mixture is by using between items. I can use magnet to separate metals from all these bunch of things together. So I use the magnet, which is a way to separate matter from a mixture, where it will collect only the metal items. So the non-metal like plastic or wood will not be attracted toward the magnet, and this is a way where we sort metals from non-metals. Okay, this is a physical separation. We are not doing anything. The metal is still metal in the mixture, and it's still metal after we separate it. So we did not change the identity or what is made up of this object or this substance. Okay, as you can see, the plastic was plastic before separating and still plastic after I'm separating. So this is another way, a type of separation, which is called physical mean or physical way. Okay, now we will talk about solutions. As we talked about mixtures, they are made of more than one substances. We will be talking about solution, which is a mixture that is having the same composition and it is mixed all over. Okay, so in other words, solution is a mixture of liquid substances. Okay, liquid substances. For example, if I will talk about my fruit juice, which is a mix of orange with mango, this is a solution. It's a mixture of liquids. So a solution is a mixture that has the same composition throughout because its parts are mixed evenly. Okay, another thing is that ocean water. Ocean water is an example of a solution where the substances are mixed together in a liquid form. Like in the water of the ocean, there is mixed or dissolved amount of salt. But this salt is found all over the water of the ocean. That's why it's a solution. Okay, if I'm adding food color for water, after sometimes when I mix them, the coloring will be mixed all over the water, so it will form a solution. Another example is air. The air that we breathe is a mixture of different gases, which we call them solution. Solution of gases is an example, air is an example of solution of gases. Okay, so just to recap for you, mixtures are when I mix more than two substances together and each substance will have its identity, will keep its identity, will keep its properties. We can separate mixture by physical means, and the same thing for solution. Solutions are a mixture of the same composition throughout that are mixed evenly. For example, like a tea, when you mix with your tea 2 spoons of sugar, the spoons of sugar will dissolve in the tea, so this will form solution. Solution when it has the same composition everywhere. So if I will taste my tea, it will all taste sweet, or it has sugar in all the cup of tea if I mix it well. This is an example of solution. The same thing for the ocean water. If you taste the ocean water, you will feel the salty taste. This means the salt is all over dissolved in the water, which in the ocean. And the same thing, the air that we breathe is made of gases, this is an example of solution of gases. So when particles are blended together or mixed together, these will form a substance that is called a mixture. When this happens, each particle has its own properties. And remember, we're talking about physical properties like size, shape, texture, and one thing that is special here is that particles can be separated. We can remove particles from one another, like we said in the mixture example. And a good example of mixture is salad. Okay. For example, if we want to talk about taco as an example of mixture because all its particles can be seen. A lemonade is an example of solution because all its part is well mixed together, as I gave you the example of the tea, when you dissolve the sugar inside your tea, so that it can't be easily seen, but it can be also it can't be separated, but we need to boil it, for example, to separate them, like we did in the salty water. So that's it for this chapter. I hope it was clear, and I hope this video helped you to master the objective. So I hope that you were able to describe the properties of matter and how those properties help you to differentiate different types of matter according to their physical property. And I hope that you are able to recognize and affect the properties of matter by identifying their physical properties and to differentiate between mixture and solution. As I remind you, a physical property is a characteristic that matter you can observe about matter without changing anything in the substance. So a physical property is a characteristic of matter that can be observed or measured directly using my 5 senses, like tasting, smelling, hearing, and also hearing and looking, observing. So you will use your 5 senses. Examples of physical property can be size, texture, color, shape, mass. Also, the like volume is considered to be a physical property. Another thing we discussed is that the hardness is how easily an object can be bent or bent. The reflectivity is a physical property that is the ability to reflect light, such as metal. Magnetism is the ability to attract metal, and this is again another physical property. And flexibility is another physical property that this can describe matter by the ability to bend without breaking. And we were able also to know a physical property, which is conductivity, the ability to transfer heat and electricity. Some of the matter are not having this ability to transfer heat and electricity. We call them insulators, and those that have the ability to conduct heat and electricity are called conductors. Another thing that we mentioned also in our session is that we will be having another physical property that is very interesting: solubility, the ability of one substance to dissolve in another substance. If the substance is able to dissolve, it will be called soluble. It will have the ability to dissolve in other substances like sugar in water. This has the ability of being soluble. Not all matter are having this property, physical property, like sand is not soluble in water. And also we spoke about mixture, where mixture is defined as a combination of 2 or more substances in which each substance is keeping its identity, it stays the same. Like example of mixture, fruit salad, green salad, cereals with fruits. All these substances are keeping its own properties. We can separate mixtures by physical means. And we also talked about solution, which is a mixture that has same composition everywhere through when it is evenly mixed. For example, if I will taste the tea, it will have the taste of sugar all over the tea, whether I start sipping my tea from the first sip till the last sip. Okay, because it's a solution. The sugar is dissolved all over the solution, which is the tea. The same thing for the ocean water. And there are some physical means where I can differentiate, separate mixtures and solutions. Mixtures are easily separated, like we talked about the example of our fruit salad, but solution are not having this ability to separate easily. Okay, you will be having all the information in this link where you can access the video and watch the video again. And I hope this gave you a recap about our lesson. Please make sure to go over this presentation. You will have it available in Schoology. Make sure you watch all the videos and you go over the worksheet where you can test yourself and check for your understanding before we will be doing the final exam. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope it was beneficial to you. If you need anything, I will be able to respond to your questions via my email address, and you can as well reach me using Schoology by message. Thank you so much, and I hope this video will be able to help you for your preparation for your final exam. Thank you so much, and best of luck. Thank you, my boys and my girls in grade 5.